which is an international not-for-profit organization headquartered in Manila, working towards better air quality in about 1,000 cities in Asia. I do recall about 15 years ago when I heard about this organization, I was wondering, I think the relevance of that organization at that time. But very soon we really felt actually when we were choking in a city like Delhi that there is a need for addressing the issue of clean air per se. So I'm requesting Prarthana to make her presentation, and she is going to mainly speak on the whole issue of clean air, achieving clean air through a circular economy. Yeah, Prarthana, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and very good afternoon. It's such a pleasure to be in a panel where we have, you have here such important and relevant things, and I'm really, really very thankful, Dr. Singh, for that you invited me to be part of this panel. And the challenge is actually being the last speaker after so many, important and relevant speakers have spoken. So I'll try to restrict my presentation to very specifically to air, and I'll try to be quick because I know that we're running against time. So I'm going to just share my screen for a few slides, which are basically visuals. Okay, can you see my presentation? Is it visible, my presentation? So I work for an organization called Clean Air Asia. We are primarily and a not-for-profit, as Dr. Singh said, and we work in 3 areas: air quality and climate change, sustainable urban transportation, low emissions urban development. So it gives me really a lot of pleasure to be talking in a forum where we are discussing waste management as well as circular economy, 3 Rs, because I think one of the least discussed areas is the connection between with proper waste management and air pollution, reducing air pollution. So my presentation is primarily about how we have tried to integrate waste management in our work, what are some of the theoretical principles, and of course some of the challenges, because I know previous speakers have spoken a lot in the context of what can be done, but I would like to bring into this floor some of the challenges that we face when we are actually implementing problems and a problem like this, and how do we actually integrate the circular economic concept into the issue of air pollution management. So if you look at this, what I have on my screen is a visual in terms of what are the sources of air pollution. Very simple. It talks about area sources, it talks about stationary sources, and it talks about mobile sources. When we are saying that it talks about area sources, we consider waste management, because area sources includes sources which are small when it comes to when you're talking about specific locations, but it actually adds up to a lot when you look at the multiple locations. So usually what happens is waste management is least discussed, because when you talk about it in the context of a particular city or a particular area, it is considered little, but when you actually add up multiple cities, it's a tremendous source. So especially in the context of India. So I think it's very important for us to understand as a country that waste management is an issue that really needs to be considered, because burning of garbage is one of the primary sources of air pollution. So what is the waste and air connection? I think one of the previous speakers, I think Professor Herath, spoke about the whole issue of how much waste we have today and the projections in terms of where we are going. I mean, we have the same figures, 3.4 billion tons in 2050. But what we also need to consider when we talk about waste management is the issue that effective waste management is expensive. It comprises almost 20 to 50% of the municipal budgets. And in countries like India, most of this municipal budget goes into collection. So we have very little left actually for the management, which is why in low-income countries and in developing countries and in many countries of Asia, 90% of the waste is often disposed as unregulated dumps or openly burned. So our problem is the unregulated dumps as well as the open burning that is happening as far as air pollution is concerned. Now, the other problem as far as solid waste disposal and air pollution is concerned is that we do not have proper data. So when you look at any research or any data that emerges in terms of the relation between solid waste management and air pollution, while you have a category which talks about solid waste, which is urban solid waste, which is garbage burning, you do not really have include issues like mining solid waste or agricultural solid waste within that context when you're talking about air pollution and the emission levels. So what happens, that becomes a miscellaneous category. So when you look at the overall emissions vis-a-vis waste management, it is deceptive because it talks of a very small component, that is the urban solid waste, which is the garbage that we are talking about. So this becomes an issue, and because of this, it is very difficult to, while we know that, okay, there is garbage burning and it leads to emissions and it leads to air pollution, which impacts our health. It is very difficult to measure the health exposure from waste management, from burning of waste, sorry, vis-a-vis air pollution, which actually makes a case for proper waste management as far as air pollution is concerned. So what is in the emissions? What is actually in the emissions as far as garbage burning is concerned? 40 to 50% is carbon dioxide, and we all know what carbon dioxide contributes to global warming. In terms of the emissions from burning, we have particulate matter, we have mercury and PHS, which are all very harmful to the human body. And you can see that air pollution impacts every part of our human body, from your cognitive ability to your lungs to multiple parts of your body. Vulnerable communities are impacted, maternal health is impacted, and children are also impacted. Then we, of course, come to mercury emissions, which is again a very harmful chemical as far as emissions are concerned, and we do not talk enough about it. And of course, we have methane and carbon dioxide together, which actually forms the VOCs, which again have a huge health impact. So these, if you look at it, while we talk about air, are actually related to the issue of improper waste management. And this is where I think we need to be concerned, because while we just talk about air pollution and where the emissions, what the emissions are, we do not talk about what are the issues that actually lead to these emissions, and how can we actually reduce the emissions by actually attacking at the source. So is a world without waste possible? And this brings me to my other challenge, where we need to talk about the terminologies when we're actually discussing in a public forum, or when we're actually talking about issues in terms of involving communities. I think it is very important for us to be realistic. And this is where I think we need to be very clear that a world without waste is not possible. And we have to therefore set some targets in terms of what is actually the level of, or the amount of waste that we would consider is enough, so that the world doesn't go through what is happening now. And this is where probably concepts like ecological restoration comes in, because we are now talking about issues like bringing back to the earth what it was earlier. Which brings me to a concept which we are talking, when we talk about the circular economy, I think we need to bring in some design processes. And in design, there is this terminology where we talk about systems design. And systems design is actually about thinking of the world as a whole, making interrelationships and interconnections possible. So this is where probably I think we need to look at nature's design. And I put here in front of you a visual to reflect, where we see that nature doesn't have the concept of design. And if our processes were designed as far as nature's philosophy, I think we would be able to achieve what we consider the circular economy in its real manner. Which brings me to our design now. And if you can see the differences in the pictures from the first slide and this slide, and this is where the problem is, that in our design process, in our implementation programs, we do not think about the circular aspects. And if you look at the picture on the right, you can see the whole concept of waste. There is so many components and there are so many issues attached to it. How do we deal with each one of these? And how do we find an integrated system which actually connects all of this, so that we do not have the multiple effects that are shown in the diagram below. So why a circular economy? I think this is not something that I need to go back to because I think everyone has spoken about it. We need to think about the ecological footprint. The global footprint is rising. The circular economy contributes to the SDGs very much, and this was spoken very well by Anupam in the beginning. And of course, we have different solutions. So I move on to my next slide. I want to dwell a bit on citizen engagement because I think that came up as a question. So there was a study which talks about, Delhi as a case, and if you look at the waste generated in Delhi, these are some of the figures. But what is more important and highlighted in orange is the fact that 70% Delhiites are willing to actually participate in the issue of waste management. They do know about segregation. They believe that reusing is better. So the importance of integrating the citizen engagement component in achieving a circular economy is shown by this small research done by a very good NGO in the city, which works on waste management. Going on, I would like to now bring in the policy aspect and why we have different plans. And my previous speaker spoke about, integrating a circular economy plan, and there is a waste management plan, and there's a climate plan. But how do we actually bring in these concepts into something, into a plan which actually doesn't talk about it? For instance, within the National Clean Air Program, we have the Clean Air Action Plans. Do we even discuss circular economy in this context? And here are some of the steps in terms of how we achieve clean air action. So enhancing understanding. Can we bring in the concept of circular economy? Because waste actually contributes to 30 to 40% if you look at the Indian city structure. I mean, different for different cities, of course, but if you look at an overall, it's one of the biggest factors, and it is a factor that can be addressed because waste management is a prerogative of the local cities, and they can actually take action. So reducing exposure, my slide which talked about what are the pollutants that are actually coming out of air of waste burning, and how do we actually discuss about this and integrate it? Mitigation actions. We do have a Clean Air Action Plan. We talk about waste management, we talk about recycling, we talk about collection, proper collection, but we do not use a word like circular economy.